meeting first, because when I called the Public Service Commission and found out that they're not regulated by the Public Service Commission, that their advice was actually to go to the mayor of my city, and I did that, and here I am again. And I did some research, and I found out that the problems that we have with K.U.A. go deeper than just the deposit policy. K.U.A. is not only not regulated by the Public Service Commission, but they're able to choose their own board members, except for the mayor, who sits on the board ex officio. He can't even vote on the issues that affect his citizens. So who is up there to make sure that it's not just their bottom line that they have an interest, because they have a lot of power over us, literally and figuratively. It's clear that some kind of change needs to be made. K.U.A.'s board should be chosen by you, just like the Toho Water Authority. Or at least our Mayor, Jim Swan, should be able to vote on the issues that affect his citizens in our city. And if that's not a possibility, then I apologize for my ignorance. I don't know exactly those rules. I'm not for governments taking over big corporations, but I am for accountability. No one, not even a huge corporation, is entitled to any money that's not earned or agreed upon before going into a contract or beginning any services. And by changing the process of how their board is chosen and giving it to the city commissioners, we wouldn't feel as though we're being extorted by a big company just because they have so much to hold over our heads. It would make us feel as though someone's looking out for us and has our best interests in mind, you know, not just the bottom line of K.U.A. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Well,
that this is an item that we can talk in, you know, at the end of our meeting, or we have to discuss something about it right now? How
we can talk about it right now if you want.
Okay.
And somebody can, you go ahead first, but I just remembered that there were some changes made, what was it, last year on the ballot? Where the appointments were changed some? Yeah. Or am I got that mixed up with a different one?
Yes, sir. No. About this item that we're talking about in reference to the extra charges that, you know, people that were paying a deposit, they were then paying a second deposit.
Okay.
On their bill, you know.
Right.
That's the item that, you know, I know last year I approached that, you know, to the community in reference to that, and to our president, you know, and K.U.A. about this item, because in reality it become unjust for a lot of the people that, you know, come up with a. I know that we cannot do anything about it, but it's something that personally, Mayor, you can bring to K.U.A. to the board meeting about this item, or something that.
Well, let me share with the commission, who may or may not be aware of it. First of all, the only folks who have to deal with deposit issue or double deposit issue are people that have either not paid in a timely fashion or have a horrible credit rating. And a study was done, I think it probably was presented to the K.U.A. board about 6 or 8 months ago, comparing K.U.A.'s current deposit policies with other utilities, and it's pretty doggone close to what everybody else is doing. And that's a public record thing. I'd be glad to make sure that gets distributed to the members of the commission if you'd like. And I remember a presentation being made by staff with all the comparisons, you know, line by line, with this utility did this and that one did that and so forth. And we can get that to you. It's no big deal.
That will be good, sir.
Yeah.
That will be good.
But I think you're going to find when you look at it that it's pretty consistent with all the other utilities.
Have you seen that?
I have seen that, and that also doesn't make it right. Just because it's consistent doesn't make it even legal. Actually, if and I didn't really want to go into deposit policy because I think that's kind of a back issue to the main problem that I have with K.U.A. right now, which is their board. And us, including Jim Swan, he's not even allowed to say, he's allowed to say things, but he's not allowed to vote on the important issues, which I think maybe needs to change, or maybe you guys should be the ones to choose the board members like you do with, the Toho Water Authority, because it just doesn't seem right to me that they can choose their own bosses.
Isn't there a vacancy right now with K.U.A.?
Yes, I think there is. There is one thing, though, I think that is correct, and Commissioner Gemsky's dealt with K.U.A. in much greater detail than me, but I do believe the commission has the final say-so over whether or not whoever gets appointed to that board.
Yes, sir.
So we do have that final authority.
I think that should be the other way around.
Well, I'm saying we have the authority.
That's why I'm here, is because I think
they can come to us with a recommendation, but this commission has to ratify that recommendation for the appointments. So they can come with a short list, but they don't have the final authority. This commission does as to who gets appointed. And I apologize, we're going off. Commissioner Grebe, your light's flashing here.
Basically, there's a charter which spells out a lot of the do's and don'ts, and as to who can vote, who can't vote, and that's the piece of legislation, so to speak, that you would look at to see what can be changed and not changed, as far as like the mayor voting, not voting, but also as far as confirmation goes as well. Because again, typically we do get recommendations from K.U.A. because to me, they're the folks in the industry and they know what their maybe shortfalls on the board may be, whether it's someone they're looking for with a finance background or what specific type of background. So I do look to that and hope that they are making good decisions. I've been very work with Jim Welsh and a lot of the board members on several issues, and we had a presentation, a joint meeting talking about the deposit item, and a lot of it comes down to there was such a shortfall of people leaving and not paying, and so they had to institute some type of policy. But I was also told that they will work with the ratepayers as much as they can to try to work on payment schedules. Otherwise, the rest who are paying, it falls on their backs. So.
Commissioner Gemsky, is that it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Gemsky, you were next.
There was a few things. I know that I personally myself would like to interview the candidates coming to sit on the K.U.A. board. And I think that because we're not able to do that right now, I do go to the interviewing process to make sure that I think what's going on is the proper thing to happen. But I know that they have a very poor customer service, very little attitude in what's going on with the customers per se. They said it just like anybody else. Once you hear the word policy, that's our policy. It's almost end of story. And I know that they're working on some changes there. And there's every case is different. It's not one fits all. And I think they need a little bit of help. And I think when it comes to the charter, I think that that's something that could be open. Not that anybody would really want to do it, but there's a number of, it was put in place for a reason, and it sometimes should not be tampered with. But I know that we do appoint the TWA board members, and I think that's a good process that we interview all of the people. We do not see the other ones that didn't get the qualification to come in front of us. All we know is the one that they selected. And sometimes, it's nice to have more information than not. And I appreciate you coming here and bringing that to light. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, you're next, but I'm going to let Commissioner Otero, his light's also on.
No, well, Mike, you want to say
okay,
something?
Mike, jump in.
Quick point that maybe the city attorney could verify, but I believe the statute prohibits a member of this board being appointed to be a voting member of that board, and it's the case. That's why with TWA and with the K.U.A. board, the appointees, the mayor in the K.U.A. case and Commissioner Gemsky in the TWA board case can't vote on that board because commissioners can't hold two offices. Is that
That's correct.
The dual office holding provision, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's against the law. Commissioner Otero.
So basically, because I know we talked about it last year, in reference to the mayor to be able to vote on the board. So you're saying that it cannot happen, even though if you bring it, you change it, you send it to the, you cannot, it's a non-vote, non-vote. Okay, so that cannot happen. All right, I'm clear about that. But secondly, you know, I know we spoke about that last year, and I'm real serious about it, that, you know, the same way that we elected, you know, that we choose people to be in the Toho Water Board, I think we have to do the same thing with K.U.A, because this is a thing that's been coming back and forward. I feel, you know, and this is an item that has to be bringing to the to the people to change the charter in reference to commissioners to elect the board, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make a motion right now that we be, you know, the commissioners be the ones to choose the board, the members of the board for K.U.A, and to bring this to the voters in, you know, 2012 election during the time of election. I'm making a motion on that regard.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Otero.
Yes, sir. You have to, you want to say something?
Yeah, just what we'd have to do is if the commission votes to direct staff, what you'd be doing is voting to direct staff to draft an ordinance to do what Commissioner Otero is referring to. And then we would draft an ordinance, and we'd have to have 2 public hearings, and if then the ordinance is passed, what the ordinance does is it then puts it on the ballot for the voters to approve via charter change.
So that's the clarification on this motion. And Mayor?
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought one of the things we talked about previously was either being involved with their process of when they do the interviews. Am I not recalling the proper?
Well, anybody can sit in the audience and listen to their interviews, the questions that are asked.
Right, but I
Anything
think
else?
we asked to be notified of that, and plus receive copies of whatever background information, so we could be more informed as commissioners when we receive that confirmation. So in case we don't agree with the recommendation, we can say, hey.
And that's true, Commissioner, and I know we discussed about that last time. And, you know, I don't know why we have to be, why we cannot be equal on how we're doing business with Toho Water, what K.U.A has to be different. And I feel that we all have to dance the same way, and I think that's my view. I want this to happen. I know that last year, you know, we went through a lot of argument and discussion about this, and I think that this is the time to get it done, and I feel that, you know, the people are talking, and we should be listening to them as well. That's not something that is Commissioner Otero. This is something that the people up there are being saying. It just, I'm happy that somebody came over here and made a presentation to us. I think we are here to serve them, not them to serve us. You know, that's kind of how I see it.
No, I'm not saying that at all, sir. It's just a matter of, again, my only concern is getting that feedback from K.U.A as far as if they are looking for a specific background that they might be lacking on the board itself. And so that's why I would like to be more involved in the process, but I don't know that I would need a charter change for that, in other words. So that was my only concern.
Commissioner Gemsky?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We are the ones that are responsible for K.U.A, and I think that's why we should make the appointment, simple as that. And I know that, again, I'll say this, I went through the interviewing process and sat through, and it's interesting to listen to, and I think that benefits anybody that would go to the meeting so that they know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, any other comments or questions? I'm not certain that I will vote for it when it ends up on the ballot, but I've never refused to put something on the ballot. And I've been doing this since about 1982. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passed unanimously.